Hi, hi, hi. Um, I've been meaning to talk about this Megan Good and Devon Franklin's case, but from totally different angle than what I'm seeing, like online in general, TikTok or the YouTube. People always talking about, either all these manosphere red pill guys going after the guy heavy, or some women even going after her, or some women going after the guy. Everybody defending their little side. But I just wanted to go about it from this perspective. Couples goals. I always see that online. Instagram, Facebook, wherever, TikTok. Oh, they are couple goals. These two people are couple goals. We live through celebrity culture. It's not a black and white thing or Latino or Asian. It started with the Anglo-Saxons, British tabloids, American stars, Hollywood, Britain. But now it's really a worldwide thing. We live through celebrities. It's true that celebrities been around forever. Gladiators back in the day, they were like, celebrities of their time. But one thing, couples goals. Back in the days, people used to think of their parents as couple goals. Yeah, your mom and your dad be married for 25, 30 years, 35, 40 years. They are couples goals. They've been together throughout everything. They started like young. They didn't have anything. They built a family up. I understand that's not a model that a lot of people know. A lot of people now came from single family, single mother or single father household, so they don't really know that. But like back in the days, that used to be people's model. Oh, like, my dad is my hero, my parents are my heroes. They're my role model, or they stick together. Yeah, everything wasn't always good, but they're my couples goals. I want to be like them. If I have a wife or if I have a husband, whatever, I want to have a family like my parents had. And people that didn't have that look up to their grandparents, your grandfather and your big mom. They were like couples goals, be married for 60 years, 50 years, 55 years, until one of them passed away. Usually, usually the men always pass off before the women. So usually Big Mama stays around maybe 5, 10 years, or even 15 years after, grandpa already passed away. But those were like couples goals normally. But nowadays, we don't see those kind of couples as couple goals. I know it might be rare in some communities to see marriage at that kind of level, but it still exists. If it's not your parents, your grandparents. If it's not your grandparents, you got uncles and aunties that been married for 30 years, 35 years. But you look at them like, oh, they're boring. Oh, they're not happy. Or they're not rich, so they're not happy. Or they don't, I don't see them boot up on my timeline. So they're not happy. They're not couples goals. For us, couple goals is like Hollywood or sports players and their wives and girlfriends. Nobody you don't really know personally should be your couple's goals. Nobody, no couple that you don't know personally, you're not really around them like that. Even your friends, you might meet at a restaurant, you might think their couple is the best couple around all of it. But like, if you don't really be around them like that, you don't talk to them all the time, you won't know what's really going on. This will not be your couple goals. Anybody you don't know personally, you're not really involved with, it should not be your couple goal. Your couple goals should be your parents. If your parents were married, it should be, sometimes you don't, it's not even your dad and your mom. It could be like, okay, your mom was there with her one kid, two kid, or three kids, and this man that became your stepfather came in and stepped in and raised you and had other children with your mom. Those two should be your stepfather and your mom should be your couple's goals. Or if you was like, let's say, your parents, something happened, your dad went to jail or your mom died, your uncles and your uncle and his wife adopted you and they raised you, they should be your couple's goals, not stars, not like people you see on Instagram putting their best out there. Then when they separate, when they go their separate way, they divorce, you start hearing about, they hadn't been together for a year. Really, all those pictures were just opportunities to send PDAs to us, the people. They're there, the celebrities. You know, I was reading Facebook yesterday. That's why, and I started thinking about making this video. And this guy was like, "Oh, why us black people?" So we always say when two celebrities divorce, it's not only black people; it's every people. Black people didn't start this thing. When I go to the grocery store, Publix, I see mainly white people, women, and some black women, a lot of black women, buying those gossip magazines. So it's not really a race thing. But if you live within your race, you only know. In our community, people look at like couple goals. It's like Beyonce and Jay Z. They're like the ultimate couple goals. Even them, they should not be a couple goals. Nobody that you don't know personally, you don't know what's going on in their life, like personally, you don't be around them. They should not be your goals because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their values are, if their values even align with yours. You might be here conservative. You don't even want like open marriage, and they might be living an open marriage lifestyle. You might be here, you want to be with your husband or your wife most of the time if they travel, like, for a business trip for a few days and come back. But this Hollywood people, she might go filming for 6 months, 7 months, they do this, doing his own business. So is that really your goal, or your goal is that picture you see? The picture is your goal, but you don't really know what's behind that picture. So stop thinking that those people are goals. They're not goals. Your parents should be goals. Even if you think they weren't happy, they weren't chilling because they were a lot of money, they should be your goal. They might not have, you know, your dad might not have taken your mom to Bermudas, to Dubai all the time, but like they raised a strong family. They raised you kids. They sacrificed a lot to raise you two kids. They might have gotten bored from each other, but they stayed together for you, because they know that was the best for you. Your grandparents, big mama and grandpa, they should be your couple goals. If your parents were married, they should be your couple goals. They stayed together for 50, 60 years. you know and us black people, for instance, the grandparents, they went through a lot of racism. I wasn't born here, but like, let's say if you're African American, your grandparents in the South, they went through a lot, or even in the North. And a lot of them left some shackles. These little houses, they built, they kept, even though the banks were abusing them, they built something together. They should be your couple's goals, not stars. Not like Megan Good and Devon Franklin, not Jay Z and Beyonce. Even Jay Z and Beyonce, you don't really know what's behind closed door. What kind of contract they have. Is that your goal? That contract that you don't know about, is that your goal? For years, Will and Jada were like couples goals until like we started finding out, oh, like it's open marriage. Dude can go 2, 3 months, then she's on her side, everybody doing their thing on the side. For most normal people, that's not couples goals. But like the pictures we see, we think, oh, that's what we want. You want the pictures, but you don't really want what's going on in their lives. That's why, like, I always tell people when people ask me, oh, who, what's the person that you love the most? I always like, "There- it's my mom. What's the person that you respect the most, you admire the most? I'm like, it's my dad. I love my mom, but I respect my dad. I admire him because for me, he is the quintessential man, like man's man. Not like a crazy rich, but always provided for his family. Always provided direction for his kids. Always provided the best example. Show the best example. He never like cut in. He never, took like back roads to get where he wanted to go. He always went straight. For me, then, th- that's what I'm saying. Your example should always be at your dinner table. And I'm not gonna talk down the people that didn't have that kind of example, but you will have your grandparents or your uncle and his wife, or your aunt and her husband. Think about it. Stars should not be your couple's goal. They should not be the leaders.